So you're thinking about moving to Lexington, Massachusetts. One of my first videos was about the pros and cons of living in Lexington. And now I'm going to provide a deeper dive. Lexington is my former hometown, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know to help you make an informed decision about moving to Lexington. We'll be talking about real estate, things to do, what's life really like for residents here. I'm going to share some information about the culture, the community. I hope you enjoy. My name is Jane. I'm a realtor based in Wellesley, Massachusetts, born and raised in Lexington, and it's one of my favorite places to show property. My channel is about what it's like to live in all of the suburbs, so please subscribe to stay updated. And if you're thinking about moving here, please reach out because I would love to help you. So when I think of Lexington, it's a beautiful town with an historic town center with terrific buildings that are gathered around the Lexington Green. It's the birthplace of American liberty, and all of us from Lexington are very proud of our American heritage. It's the place where Paul Revere's bride came to tell us the British were coming. It's also the place we lost to the British, but I digress. It has outstanding schools and a highly educated pool of residents. So here's some basics on Lexington. It's about 15 miles west of Boston, and one thing to know about it when you're comparing it to some of our other suburbs is that commuting is not as straightforward as, say, from Wellesley or Weston. There was a commuter rail, but years ago they ripped that out and made the railroad track into a fantastic bike path, which is called the Minuteman Bike Path. You can take that bike path all the way from Lexington to downtown Boston. Some of it goes through some neighborhoods and cities through the heart of Cambridge. So it's a really great ride, but it's a terrific resource for communities, for people to walk, to bike, and to stroll with their kids or their dogs. For local transportation, one of the things that is cool about Lexington is there's a transportation bus just for residents trying to get around town. So this started when I was a kid. And I remember when there was a contest about what we should name the bus. And the winning name was Lexpress. Get it? And Lexpress has been going strong since the late 70s. So Lexington is a community of about 34,000 people, and it has a town meeting form of government. If you're not familiar with that, basically it is a forum of townspeople that are not always like-minded that run for office. They get voted in by their neighbors, and it's a very egalitarian discussion form of government. It's a politically active community. Check out my other Lexington video for the story about how my mother went and got arrested when she was protesting in the Vietnam War with John Kerry. When I was a child, we were very active in our Catholic church, and my parents' friends all tended to be people that they knew from church, and they were very involved with the community. Some of the things they did was provide sandwiches on Sundays for the Pine Street Inn in Boston. And I remember both my parents were active in the development of some low-income housing that was built in our town. And one of the things that I remember best from my teenage years is my parents and their friends created this organization called the GLADS, which was the Greater Lexington Adventure Society. My sisters and I were completely mortified by both the name and the activities that they planned, but it actually turned out to be really fun, and we were reluctantly attended some of these events. Remember going to tour the House of Seven Gables in Salem, which is really cool, where there's all that history of witches. And one of the other funny things I remember about the GLADS is that they originally wanted to name it the LADS, but the women complained because they said that was sexist. So then it became GLADS. Again, high on the embarrassment ratios when I was in middle school or elementary school. Let's talk about some of the amenities. You're gonna need to know where the best mall is, and there's an amazing mall in Burlington, Massachusetts, which is just a short drive from Lexington. So you have all the major stores there, lots of great restaurants, a theater. The local town center also has some great dining options. And again, revisit my first video where I talk about Mario's, this institution that's a budget Italian place, but there's some fine dining there as well. One of my favorite places to go, where we typically take my parents on Mother's Day, is the Inn at Hastings Park. park. It's just a short stroll to the Lexington Green and all of the historic buildings like the Monroe Tavern and the Clark House that you can have historical tours. It's really pretty. And when I was a kid, it was actually a nursing home building or a retirement home, but it's quite bougie now with some upscale accommodations. There's a casual bistro, and then there's an award-winning dining room in the inn's main dining room. The chef is actually going to be beating Bobby Flay this April. For medical facilities, you are surrounded by top-notch hospitals. It's just about 15 miles to the best hospitals in Boston. Children's Hospital actually maintains a very large medical building where you can see some of the doctors that you might normally have to see downtown. They'll take a day in the burbs, which makes it easier on children and their parents to commute and park. And then there's a major hospital in Burlington called the Leahy Clinic and Hospital as well. I have very fond memories of taking advantage of the trails and conservation areas in Lexington when I was a child. There's about 136 acres of conservation land and loads of trails for you to explore and enjoy. There is also an outdoor swimming place fondly known of as the Res, which is the reservoir, which once upon a time was a source of drinking water, but has become an outdoor swim hole that has lifeguards, and it's behind the Bridge Elementary School. Check that out. And of course, there's the historic Minuteman National Park, which shares some of the history about the Minuteman March from Lexington to Concord, and it has some beautiful hiking trails and woods to this day. Let's talk about school. As I mentioned, the Lexington schools are perennial powerhouses, high scoring, high achieving, terrific environment, very active, engaged teachers, students, and parents. Niche.com always gives Lexington an A+ rating for its elementary, middle, and high schools. There's actually a vocational school too that attracts kids from all the surrounding towns, which has some great facilities and programs. Are you curious about what's happening in real estate? So it's spring of 2023, and if you had asked us in the fall of 2022 if we expected the real estate market here to be as hot as it is, I don't think we would have said it would. It has turned out to be as hot as 2022 and 2021, with scads of buyers showing up for very limited inventory. So I've been out actively searching for a home for a lovely family these past couple of weeks, and we've been bidding in situations where there's been 20 offers on a particular home. Just yesterday, they had the winning bid on a house that was priced in the 1.2s, and it's going to go 10% over asking, and there were 5 offers. If you're interested about more specifics about the real estate market for your price range or for your timing, please send a message or give me a call, and I'm happy to share more information. The housing stock in Lexington is quite varied. You will find everything from densely populated neighborhoods on the eastern side, which is towards Arlington, to larger estates with lots of land in parts that are further from town. So there's 2 historic areas, Miriam Hill and Monroe Hill, which have just Victorians, and Miriam Hill is a short walk to the town center, and Monroe Hill is also pretty close to the town center. So there's really something for everyone. So again, reach out and I can tell you what I recommend for you and your family. So if you're thinking about moving to Lexington or anywhere in Greater Boston, reach out. You want to have somebody working on your team who's got the inside scoop. So I hope this video has provided you with some perspective. And what did you think? Did I miss anything? Please leave a comment and share your thoughts. I would love to hear from you. And if you're thinking of moving here, I would love to help. Thanks for watching.